I am in fact drinking sugar-free ginger ale out of a coffee mug. We're not going to talk about it. That's the kind of day it's been. Hello, friends, foes, and those still under review. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're talking about Summerween. Now, if you were around at all last year, you know that Summerween is the highlight of my summer. Now, for the uninitiated, Summerween is pretty much exactly how it sounds. And it is pretty much the only reason that I enjoy summer at all. Look at me. I am obviously of very European descent. I have my father's very Scottish skin. I do not do well in the heat whatsoever, and I am medically sensitive to the sun thanks to a lot of the medication I'm on for my arthritis. So Summerween and the book recommendations that come along with it are generally the only thing that keep me from being absolutely miserable this entire season. So Summerween is the only time that I really read YA because I am looking for that Goosebumps, Camp Crystal Lake, Fear Street 1978 kind of vibe. You know, the very nostalgic, like, summer camp slasher type books. And so those are kind of easier to find in the YA genres than it is like the adult ones, but I think this year I have found a good mix of both. So if you're looking to add to your TBR, keep watching. I'm sure that I have something in here for you. Anyways, without further ado, grab yourself a beverage and let's get into my list. So first up is one that was on last year's TBR that I just did not get around to, and that is You're Not Supposed to Die Tonight by Callan Bayron. So this is about a girl named Charity who is playing the final girl in a full contact terror game based on a slasher movie, and quite honestly that sounds like a hell of a good time. During the last weekend of their season, people start turning up dead, and so Charity and her girlfriend have to figure out what the hell's going on before they join the list of victims, and I don't know, it just sounds like a hell of a lot of fun to me. Next up is 80s Ghosts by V.S. Lawrence. This one's set in 2009, and this one is about a girl named Chrissy who is a ghost hunting vlogger, and she is determined to make her vlog a success, but it sounds like things are not going well, and she's like one failed investigation away from just absolute financial ruin. So in a last-ditch effort to make her vlog a success, she takes an email tip and decides to go investigate a high school that burned down in the 80s that is supposedly haunted. Her and her team head to this high school, and while they're investigating, she notices that her team is acting a little bit off and things are just not as they should be, if that makes sense. So some of the reviews that I have seen have kind of indicated that there's some found footage type aspects to this. I love a good found footage mixed media type book. Next up is With Friends Like These, also by V.S. Lawrence. This one's another summer camp book. It's about a girl named Kenzie who wants to go have a fresh start at Camp Red Moon, you know, make some new friends, have some fun. The leader of the group goes into town and leaves the group just isolated up in this camp in the mountains. They decide to summon a demon as a prank, which sounds ill-advised at best. So after they attempt to summon this demon and it doesn't go well, people start to die. Needless to say, chaos ensues after that, and so that's one that I am pretty excited to read about. Next up is Camp 1985 by Matthew R. Core. So Camp 1985 is a summer program for social media addicted teens. So that's where their parents send them to go and make some friends and have some screen-free time somewhere without devices that connect to the Wi-Fi. So these campers decide to have a little bit of fun with the spirit board, and it unleashes a vengeful spirit of a bygone era. I have no idea what that means, but it sounds fun. Campers need to figure out how to stop the spirit so that they can leave the camp alive. So this is apparently part of a series called the Slasherverse, so I'm excited to see what that has to offer. I love a good Ouija board haunting. I do feel like media like this gives spirit boards, Ouija boards, what have you, a little bit of a bad name, because at the end of the day, it's no different than a pendulum or tarot cards or fucking magic 8-ball. Using one of them is not going to do bad things to you so long as you follow rule number 1, and that is we do not divinate without protection. Spirit communication is kind of like hooking up with a stranger. Protection is important. But I digress. Next up is My Heart is a Chainsaw by Stephen Graham Jones. I haven't read any Stephen Graham Jones, but I hear really good things, so I'm excited about this one. It is about Jade, who is an 80s slasher film fanatic. Jade lives in a place called Proof Rock, Idaho, on a mountain, and Proof Rock is right next to Indian Lake. Indian Lake was home to Camp Blood, which was apparently the site of a massacre of some sort. And it's where they are building Terra Nova, a second home celebrity Camelot being carved out of a national forest. Jade somehow knows that this is the start of a slasher movie, and so she's trying to figure out if she can survive to the end or not with her knowledge of other horror movies. It's a part of a trilogy, so if it's good, I'll read the other two and let you know how they are. I've heard good things, so I'm excited for that one. Next is another one by Stephen Graham Jones, and that is I Was a Teenage Slasher. This is set in La Mesa, Texas in 1989. It is about two kids named Tolly and Amber. During the summer of 1989, there is a string of killings, and so that string of murders is eventually made into a TV movie, and so Amber and Tolly go from being basically unrecognized to infamous. If I am reading the blurb correctly, it looks like it might be narrated by the killer themselves. Yeah, that one looks like it could be really fun. Next is Horror Movie by Paul Tremblay, and so this one is about a group of filmmakers in 1993 who spend a couple of weeks making a really disturbing art house flick, only 3 scenes of which were ever published anywhere, but the film has nevertheless grown a cult-like fan base, and so present-day Hollywood is making a big-budget remake of it. The man who plays the Thin Kid, was the name of his character, decides that he is going to help them make this film. He's the only surviving member of the cast or the crew from the original movie, and so he has to kind of confront what actually happened during filming of the original movie and also his own personal trauma with that. I'm really excited for this one. Paul Tremblay's really good at writing really ambiguous endings where you don't know what the hell happened. I feel like that's really good for my brain to kind of not have answers, so I'm excited for that one. Next up is Clown in a Cornfield by Adam Cesari. Quinn and her father have moved to the small town of Kettle Springs to kind of get a fresh start, but there's a little bit of a rift in this town when they get there between the adults and the kids, which, you know, what small town doesn't have that rift, but this one seems a little bit more extreme, to say the least. Just when it looks like that rift is going to tear the town apart, the town's mascot, which is a clown in a stupid hat, decides that he's going to come and just end it all. The last line of the blurb says, "Because if your opponents all die, you win the debate by default," which is technically correct, I guess. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of clowns, but it sounds like fun anyway. Next is Swarm by Jennifer D. Lyle, and it's, I think, the only creature feature I have on this list. I originally wasn't going to put it on here, but this is the other one that was on my list last year that I didn't make it around to reading, and I figured I should probably finish it because it's been sitting on my Kindle for like a year now. This one appears to be about killer butterflies. And so a girl named Sher has to keep her 2 brothers, and their 2 best friends safe during this giant butterfly attack, because apparently they're carnivorous. So I don't know. Bugs are fun, so I'm excited for it. Next is The Counselors by Jessica Goodwin, which seems less like a slasher and more of just a murder mystery. Goldie, Ava, and Imogen, who used to be campers at Camp Alpine Lake, are now back as counselors. All of them have secrets that they're trying to keep to themselves. But then someone turns up dead and they have to figure out what is going on, who killed this kid. It looks like they kind of have to try and stick together and then solve the murder with the power of friendship. It looks like fun. I 100% picked it based off the cover, so we'll see how that is. Okay, so next up is Tastes Like Candy by Ivy Tolan, who is the pen name of Jessica Lacey. It is about a scavenger hunt in a carnival that they have to break into after hours to complete. But while they're in there trying to complete the scavenger hunt, a killer in a rubber mask shows up, starts, murdering everybody. So they have to figure out who the murderer is, what his motive is, and try to get out of there alive. And there is also a sequel called Tastes Like Candy 2 Sugarless that looks really good that I don't really want to give you a summary of that from the looks of things. It is going to give the plot away. So we'll just leave that one where it is. Next up is Camp Slaughter by Sergio Gomez. It's another summer camp one, but this one has older main characters. So Camp Slaughter is apparently an urban legend, and no one knows if it's really real or not, but a group of college kids rents a cabin out in the woods of Pennsylvania, and it looks like there is going to be a cannibal. So less slasher, more Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I don't know. I'm excited for that one because on my Summerween bingo card that I made, cannibals features pretty heavily, and I was worried I wasn't going to get to it. So I'm excited for that one. Next up is The Last Girl Standing by Jennifer Dugan. It is about 2 girls named Sloane and Cherry who met at a summer camp as counselors, and there was a masked man that came and attacked them, and so they have trauma bonded over this experience, basically. Later, new evidence comes to light, and Sloane worries that Cherry might have had something to do with it and might not be an actual victim. Next up, we have The Honeys by Ryan LaSala, and it is about Mars, who has recently lost his twin, Caroline. After losing his twin sister, Caroline, Mars decides that he is going to go to the prestigious Aspen Conservancy Summer Academy, which is somewhere where his sister spent a lot of her time. So he decides to go there and track down his sister's old friends, which is a group of girls called the Honeys. So named because they have beehives behind their cabin, which is total normal summer camp activities. And so after spending some time with them, he decides, hey, these girls might have something to do with them. It looks like Mars might not be the most reliable narrator based on the blurb. I love a good unreliable narrator, so that one's going up near the top of the list. Next up is The Camp by Nancy Bush. And so this is about a camp that has fog that supposedly brings death with it. 20 years ago, a girl's body was found on a ledge above the lake, arms crossed over her heart. Some people thought it was a suicide pact connected to the nearby Haven commune, and so 3 of the girls that went to this camp have never breathed a word of what happened that night. And so later on, the camp has been renamed Fog Lake, and so they're coming back to this camp for an alumni weekend. But the fog also makes an appearance that weekend, and it looks like something goes horribly wrong, as it usually does with these stories. Next up is Summer Camp for Slasher Victims by Matthew Mercer. Not Critical Role Levi Ackerman, Matthew Mercer, different Matthew Mercer. This is about a summer camp called Camp Safe Woods. Its main purpose is to help trauma survivors. And so a girl named Annie, her grandfather runs this camp, and so she decides that she's going to come up, be a counselor, and help some kids through their trauma. But it turns out that there is a killer lurking among them, and so Annie has to find the killer, figure out what his motive is, and stop him before he wreaks havoc on the entire camp. Next up is Heads Will Roll by Josh Winning, and this is another one that I picked almost exclusively off of the cover. And so this is about a camp called Camp Castaway that is designed for summer camp for adults who need to leave their lives behind for a little bit, aka celebrities who have really fucked up and been cancelled. And so it's about a girl named Willow who has tweeted herself into infamy and had to be dragged drunk out of a pool. And so she's having a good time at this camp until one of the other campers disappears. And campers begin to lose their heads, literally, and Willow and her new friends are on the run. So it looks like the summer camp slasher, but we're grown-ups this time. Next is The Curse of the Reaper by Brian McCauley. This is about an actor named Howard Browning who in the 80s played the killer in the franchise Night of the Reaper. He's excited when the studio decides that it's going to reboot the whole thing, but he's less excited to learn that he's being replaced in that role by a former child star who has just gotten out of rehab. While he's refusing to let go of this character that he played, his alter ego seems to take over sometimes, and so it's to be determined whether Howard is just doing the method acting thing a little too well, or if the Reaper has taken on a life of his own. I don't know. I'm excited for this one. There's just something about characters who are refusing to stay characters that just fascinates me. So next is one that is not publishing until August 4th. But it's called Small Town Slasher by Stephanie Rose. And so it is about a woman named Jenna Wilcott who doesn't usually leave her home very often. She's got some very severe anxiety. Her partner tragically dies in a car accident, but he had secretly booked a stay at a horror-themed rental cabin in Woods Bay. And so she can't bring herself to cancel it. It just kind of feels like a gift from her partner. And so she decides to go on this trip anyway. And where the cabin is, 11 people were murdered several decades ago. And so these murders were never actually solved. And so Jenna, when she gets there and checks into her cabin, a new body is discovered outside of town. And so she has to team up with a couple of locals to figure out what is going on and survive it. Like I said, this one is publishing August 4th, so we gotta wait a little bit for that. I might see if I can get an arc on NetGalley or something. I guess we'll see. Next up is The Saturday Night Ghost Club by Craig Davidson. It's about 1980s Niagara Falls, a seedy but magical, slightly haunted place that tracks a kid named Baker who spends a lot of time with his uncle Calvin, who is a kind but eccentric enthusiast of occult artifacts and conspiracy theories. So when he turns 12, he befriends a pair of siblings who are new to town, and so he initiates them into the Saturday Night Ghost Club. What begins as a seemingly lighthearted project may ultimately uncover more than any of its members had imagined. That sounds fun and also unsettling. We'll see where that one goes. I've heard good reviews, so I don't know why I'm nervous about that one. Last but certainly not least is Hide by Kirsten White. It's about a challenge where you have to spend a week hiding in an abandoned amusement park and don't get caught, and you win a lot of money if you succeed. It's about a girl named Mac who is very good at hiding, and that is the reason that she is alive and her family isn't. So Mac, as her competitors start disappearing, she starts to think that some sinister things are going on, and so she might need to enlist her fellow competitors to help her get through it. So, I don't know. Hide and seek is fun. I think it's gonna start out sad immediately, but I don't know. Sad books are cathartic, so I don't know. I'm ready for it. Anyways, that is all that I have for you today. Thank you for sticking around with me for this long. If this was helpful and you'd like to see more from me, remember to subscribe. As with all my other videos, all of the books that I mentioned will be linked down below for you to go find them. Full disclosure, most of my links are from bookshop.org or booksellers.ca, which are affiliate links, so I get a little bit of a kickback if you purchase through those links. Instead of your money going to Amazon, all of your money will go to independent bookstores. So if you'd like to take a couple bucks out of Daddy Bezos' pocket and put them towards, you know, people who could actually benefit from it, those are good places to look. Even if you don't use my links, I would still recommend going to check out those two websites. If you have a book that you think belongs on this list that you think I would enjoy, make sure you comment it down below so that I can go and find it. But yeah, stay safe, be good, enjoy your book. I will see you in the next one.